In the previous part, we read the whole set of sidewall markings, the size code, the load and speed rating, the DOT number, the E-mark, the UTQG ratings, the +1 rule, and the effect of inflation pressure. Now we move to section 1.2, tire construction and components. In this section, you will study the bead, the inner liner, the carcass, the belts, the sidewall, and the tread, together with the function of each. Then the rubber compounds, the cords, and the manufacturing process. This section comes with 8 worked examples. First of all, note that a tire is a high-tech product, not just a ring of rubber. It is made of rubber combined with synthetic materials, all vulcanized together into one body. Inside the tire, cords, fabric, and steel wires are deliberately arranged into 6 places: the inner liner, the carcass, the bead, the belts, the sidewall, and the tread. Tire strength is usually described by the number of carcass plies. An ordinary passenger tire has only 2 plies, while a commercial aircraft tire may have more than 30. Figure 1.7 shows the construction of a radial tire, so you can clearly see where the belts, the carcass, the bead, the inner liner, the sidewall, and the tread sit on a single cross-section. Now let us look at what each main component does. The bead is a high-strength steel cable ring wrapped in rubber. It holds the tire on the rim and transmits force from the tire to the rim. The inner liner is a special airtight rubber layer that holds the pressure in a tubeless tire. The carcass, or body plies, carries the tension generated by the air pressure. In a radial tire, the carcass cords run perpendicular to the tread. The belts are steel, polyester, or Kevlar layers running around just under the tread. They flatten the tread and resist distortion and puncture. The sidewall provides lateral stability, protects the carcass, and resists air leakage. Finally, the tread is the part in direct contact with the road. Its grooves both generate grip and drain water. Example 1.19 asks about the mass composition of a tire compound. The result is as follows. Reinforcement, that is steel, rayon, and nylon, accounts for 16%. Natural and synthetic rubber accounts for 38%, the largest share. Fillers such as carbon, silica, and chalk account for 30%. Softeners such as oil and resin account for 10%. Vulcanizing agents such as sulfur and zinc oxide account for 4%. And the remaining 2% is everything else. Example 1.20 asks which cord materials reinforce a tire. The answer is steel and fabric cords, specifically cotton, rayon, polyester, steel, fiberglass, and aramid. They reinforce the rubber so the tire can carry heavy loads. Example 1.21 asks what parts make up the bead and what each one does. The bead is an inextensible composite ring whose job is to anchor the carcass and lock the tire onto the rim. It has 2 parts, a rubber-wrapped steel wire ring wound continuously and a stiff rubber wedge, called the apex or bead filler, extruded into a wedge shape. Example 1.22 asks what the ply count says about a tire's performance. The ply or cord count is the number of fabric or steel layers embedded in the rubber. The more plies, the higher the load capacity, and manufacturers always state the ply count and the cord type. Both the bead and the carcass plies were already shown in figure 1.7 of section 1.2. Example 1.23 asks how many rubber compounds make up the tread and by what process. The tread has 3 parts: the tread cap, the shoulder, and the base. These 3 parts use 3 different rubber compounds, but they are co-extruded through a single die, so they bond into one body. Example 1.24 asks which rubber types are used in tire manufacturing and where. For the tread and the sidewall, manufacturers use natural rubber, SBR, that is styrene butadiene rubber, and BR, that is polybutadiene. The inner liner, which must hold the compressed air, uses butyl rubber and halogenated butyl rubber, the compounds with the highest air tightness. The last 2 examples of this section look at rubber from a historical and a functional angle. Example 1.25 recounts that about 2,500 years ago, native peoples of Central and South America used tree sap to waterproof their shoes and clothing. The English word rubber comes from its use to rub out pencil marks. The pneumatic tire was invented in 1845 and manufactured from 1888. Example 1.26 asks why a car cannot turn without elastic tires. The answer is that elasticity is exactly what lets the tire deform and still grip the road while changing direction. Without elastic tires, a vehicle can only turn at very low speed. In the next part, we will compare the two carcass constructions, radial and bias.